All right, so I figured out the knobs and handles. I'm gonna imitate this language here, but I'm gonna inset these little things that I'm making that can pop up and tilt out and you can grab them. So I'll shape them and all that, but those will go in there. So they'll be flush and not take up space in here. Also figured out the back problem where this board is warped so it keeps catching. I wasn't going to shave the board or do something else like that. And like I said, I wanted to make this one cut in half. And I'm prepared for that with the dovetails, but let me open this up. I'll show you. Let me go. All right, so it snags on the way out and in because of that bow. So I was trying to figure out how to best make that work. And it's gonna work because I'm gonna make this not a drawer, but a case. So all the other dovetails are 3 tails. I made this one with 2 with a gap in mind so I could cut it in half if I ever wanted to. So I'm gonna put a top in here, cut it in half, and that way there's a solid piece right here that it can't catch on. So still lots to do. Rabbit this out, put that in, inlay all of these little devices. I always make stuff so complicated. And then I have to make a broom. All right, I've got the top routed. I got a piece of hardboard that's got a black side and a white side. We use them for desktops here, so it's just a scrap. But I trimmed off this just with a scalpel and a chisel. And that way I know that that's gonna have a better glue surface because I want the black side to show. So I'll glue that in place and then we'll cut it in half. Now I have to do something kind of weird with the hinges. It naturally wants to open this way, but I can't do that. I'm gonna have to open it backwards, and I have special hinges that I'm gonna use that I'll show you all in a little bit. All right, so there it is, cut in half. I didn't use a table saw traditionally because that would take it off too much, but I did use the tiniest bladed tool I have outside of a handsaw because I didn't want to hand cut that. So I used this. This is a miniature table saw by Micromark is the catalog that I got it from. I forgot who actually made, yeah, Micromark is the people that made it. Super cool little tool. Even has a extendable leg, right? It's made for model makers, dollhouse furniture makers and such forth. But it has a nice tiny curved blade that I keep on it. And I use it for all sorts of little detail cuts. So that can just sit anywhere in the corner of the shop. But yeah, so that's ready to go. I had one little slip when it was the last cut. It pinched on the blade right there. But outside of that, she's pretty clean. So let's talk about hinges. I gotta figure out how to hinge that. And I have the idea because of this. So this lovely piece of quarter-sawn sycamore used to be the side table for my bed when I was a bachelor. And what I would do is I had this little guy that was actually a drawer, or not a drawer, but a cabinet, I guess. So I'd keep a lamp, and before your phones had alarm clocks, my alarm clock, and then everything else, my wallet, keys, book, whatever I was looking at the time, would go in that little pocket that actually held underneath the table. So that way it kept everything clean. Because as y'all know, if you follow me, I have a problem with keeping flat surfaces clean. Anyhow, so I was thinking about these hinges because I can't hinge it on this side because the side is so thin, right? But I can use the back here, and I think I have enough space, I haven't even measured it out yet, to see if I can use these hinges. And these are a set of barrel hinges. So this little screw expands and contracts it, and it just slides in 2 holes. So I just need to make a mating set of holes in here, and I think I can make it work. We'll see. So younger Daniel apparently gorilla glued the hinges in. Don't know why, younger Daniel, but you just set me back a little bit of cash and some time. So I gotta get a set of these or figure out a hinge system for the back there. Maybe let's do a piano hinge. I don't know, we'll see. You gotta love when a drill bit just fits where you need it to. So then I'll just chisel these out and we'll get them all set like this when they're done. All right, I'm excited to get the little handles done. So these pop open and you can drag the drawers out. and they just flap closed. So little guys, super cute. So all those work. The bottom one has already been cut in half. You guys can see. So sliced this in half horizontally, and that goes out. So I need to wait for the hinges to show back up, or the new hinges to show in, so I can put those in, and that will come out as one case. But all these little guys work really well. Now I want to turn my attention to the inside the door, where I need to make a broom. I could get a little whisk broom, I think, but I think it'd be cool to make one. And so I have a dead broom right here. I'm just gonna cut these strings and harvest the straw and make a little whisk that fits exactly in this case door, and a little dustpan for it. So I was gonna make a turkey wing, which is like a curved broom, a shaker style turkey wing. Being in Kentucky, that's close to home, to match this kind of shape. But I think I'd rather it match the case than the drawers. So I'm gonna make a stacked ladder, shaker style broom, little whisk. We'll see how it goes. I've never made one. See what we do. All right, deconstructed the broom. Got a lot of pieces that are really trained, curved, and kind of weird. Got some weird flat pieces. So I'm trying to sift out what I can actually use. So this will take a little while. So I'll get all this done, and then I'll start wrapping it with this cord. So we'll see how it goes. All right, not half bad. Little ladder stack. It got a little crooked because it rolled over a little bit, but I need it to be flat. So we'll see how it turns out. I'm gonna trim it up because when it fits in here, it needs to be very low profile. That even may be too thick. So we'll find out. But we'll trim it up and see how it looks. All right, little update. I've got all the drawers in. I've got a couple coats of poly in here just to make sure they're protected. They're all looking good. Oh, I got linings in them now. So I can protect tools, but when they get full of dust, I actually have a little ribbon back here that I can pull up and empty out the linings. So those just kind of piston fit in there, looking sharp. Finished off the little ladder broom. There's the travel side and the show side. So that little whisk will now fit right in there. So I realized I need to do two things. One, I need to make a dustpan. Well, drop the broom. This guy had to be kind of oval and thin because it needs to fit in a very tight spot. So I'm gonna make a very thin dustpan that it fits into. And I think I'm gonna like just make it magnetic to something in here. But then also what I wanna do is I think I wanna put a business card rack in here, because oftentimes I take this to gymnastics where my son practices or whatever else is, and I'll be carving on violin scrolls and stuff, and people have questions. So if I take this anywhere as a demo box, I can put cards or anything else in there. So that's on the agenda. Dustpan, I think a card rack, and then in this bottom drawer, I think I want to do a little chisel roll or rack eventually, but I'm gonna live with it for a little while before I do anything permanent. So that's where we're at right now. So let me get to making those two things. All right, got the hinges in and done on this one. So this case now opens up, lays flat. There we go. It's hard to do one-handed. So that'll now be fine in there. There we go. To our little dustpan, I laid my little broom out, and here's what I'm thinking for a dustpan. It looks very flask-like or like beaker-like, but I'm still struggling to think about how to attach it in there because I really want to keep it vertical. I think it looks good vertical because I could make it as a pocket that goes this way and then gravity just helps and holds it in. I may have to do that rather than doing a magnet or something like that. Anyways, I'll figure that out. But that's what I'm kind of thinking for a dustpan. So I just have a scrap of plywood. I'm gonna clean it up and then build some little cherry walls and a top piece. I could do this with like bent laminates and all sorts of fancy stuff, but I think I'd like to do this as not say a permanent mock-up, but get it in there and use it and see how I like it. And then I can change it if I want. All right, just made a little box for business cards out of some scrap mat board. Just cut it out, glued it up with some standard PVA glue. But I'm gonna wrap this in some suede. I don't know if I'm gonna do black or red. You'll see why. But here is where the dustpan is sitting. Pretty stoked on that little guy. Cute little dustpan. Now this right now is just a friction fit inside there. So it takes 2 hands to kind of fit it. But I'm gonna put a couple of magnets on the back so it can stick in there. So that'll be the dustpan right there. And then I'll put the business card holder right here. I think I'm gonna do black just to match the box. I thought about doing red to match the insides of here, but it'll be best to match the box. If I had some dark gray, I might have some gray. I might do gray, we'll see. But that's where we're at right now. All right, cut some small metal discs off the end of a piece of bar stock. I'm gonna put that in the back side of the dustpan so that they'll stick to magnets. Put the magnets in this side, because if I change the dustpan situation, as trivial as it sounds, I can use these spots for scraper cards or other things, versus putting the magnets in there to which they're stuck. So, oh yeah, little card holders in place, all ready to go. So let's put some metal in here and hopefully wrap this little guy up. All right, I think my little portable kit right now is good to go. I thought about putting a logo on it or something. We'll see what I do. But we've gone over all the little features stuff. I thought I'd just show you. I'm excited about, there's our little magnetic dustpan, right, with my little broom. Now, I think I may end up making a new broom at some point, just because the straw that this was made out of, the only thing I could salvage from that broom was really rough. It's a really coarse hair. It's not like a nice broom corn situation. But this will work for now, and we'll see how it runs. And like I said, it just friction fits in there, like so, and then has the magnets that sit in the door. I got my little cards ready to go, and then all my drawers. I'm gonna add in the chisel rack at some point in there, but until I actually function with it and use it, I don't know how it's gonna work. I like how tight these are. You can watch this little lever actually kind of blows out, right, because the air. Anyhow, exciting how these worked out. Exciting how this door little guy works out so far. I think it looks pretty professional, and I'll be able to carry violin scrolls and some carving tools. And if I do some drawings or anything else like that, I can carry everything else in there. So I'm excited to see how this uses, but it's gonna be way better than what I was using. So let's bring them back. The good old Rubbermaid, right? With the Gorilla Glue duct tape hole to cover the holes. Yeah, so this will be replacing by this fancy little guy. So I'm excited. Anyways, thanks for watching. Thanks for following along on my short little side quest tangent. So up next, I have to go back to my original side quest, which is the piano the piano tool cabinet. All along making some other stuff. I got a guitar in the works, a couple of gourd banjos you can see here in the background. Yeah, a little bit of everything. So anyhow, thanks for following along, and hope you have a good one.